Council, mobile preschool. And I'll ask.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's a proposal for a change to fees for preschool starting next term. Just a change to the recommendation there, because it involves fees and charges. We're required to exhibit for 28 days, seeking any comments from that might be made on that, and for a further report to come back to Council probably, I'd say, in the January meeting, to consider any representations there. So, small modification, if you'd like to read out what you've got there.
Yeah, first I'll get a mover. Move Councillor Meagle, seconded Councillor Law. Councillor Meagle, did you have a question?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. There are a lot of positives out of this report for the mobile preschool operating in the northern part of the council area. There's the fact that there's more students coming is great. The fact that we've added a new venue at Boree Creek is also a positive. There's a number of positives. The negative is the increase, and I know it's only small, but it is still an impact on those families that are looking to utilise preschool. I do note in the report that there is a requirement to transition into a new national quality standards, and that is going to require some increased compliance, no doubt. So we've kept it, I think, as low as we can. We've only changed the full day as opposed to the half day. So I think it's a reasonable recommendation for the council given the circumstances.
Yeah. Okay, noting the change here, councillors, in the recommendation.
Yep.
I'll put it. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Thank you, Councillor Meagle, for that extra information. Thank you. Finance 7.1, statutory report for bank balances and reconciliation is at the 30th of November for noting.
Moved Councillor Meagle, seconded Councillor Kennedy. Questions or comments? All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
7.2 is the schedule of investments for the 30th of November 2017. You'll notice over the coming months as our works area gets fully into swing, that some of these investments will drop down.
Moved by Councillor Meagle, seconded by Councillor Law. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
7.3 is the recommencement of the review of all our risk management strategies, policies and framework, and the internal audit committee was able to have access to these when they were prepared for this meeting. Basically, what we've got is that there's attached to in the attachments. There's the risk management strategy. Basically, outlines our 3 lines of defence approach, the policy and the framework report, and that seeking confirmation of a number of things in there, as well as that we place the policy on exhibition. Likewise, that Council notes the draft risk management framework, which is the document that we'll use to basically work through. There is an internal resource called the Project Brief. We're funding out of the state government implementation money to get some additional resource to work through to get this basically all up and running again fully within 12 to 18 months. You'll note in the report that I'm proposing to have a councillor consultation, a special presentation to councillors at one of the workshops coming up to bring councillors up to speed, particularly to do with issues of councils, what they call risk appetite, appetite for how risky we are willing, what risks we're willing to accept, if any, in regards to certain works and services, and then there's a consequence. Table to give you an appreciation for within those service areas. So a lot of that is contained within the framework, but it really requires an opportunity to talk with council at a much greater depth than presented here today. So basically, what I'm after is noting the elements of the report, and that policy goes out, which ties it all together, on exhibition for further comment, and during that period of exhibition we'll conduct a councillor workshop presentation.
Very good.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Longline, seconded by Councillor Law. Any questions or comments? Councillor Longline, did you have a question?
On that question in regard to Mr. Parker, do we currently, I believe, have a risk management officer within the entity of the Federation Council?
Yes.
We do have? Yeah. Would that officer be able to come to our workshops in regard to the understanding between us all?
Yes, we ought the extra resource that I talked about would most likely be able to be present as well. And for a lot of the documentation that our insurer uses, this particular person was involved in creating that. So you'll find that ours will look like, a lot of the information will look like other councils, well in actual fact it's this particular person that's constructed many of those. So good depth of understanding, and hopefully that will be able to be conveyed to councillors for all of our responsibilities.
Thank you very much for that.
Any further questions, councillors? If not, I'll put it. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Tim. Now I'll ask the Director for Infrastructure and Environment to report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Report 8.1 is our standard building approvals report, just outlining the recent activity in there. It's for council to note.
Okay, we've got a mover. Moved by Councillor Kennedy, seconded by Councillor Law. Any questions or comments on any of those? No, I'll put it. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Report 8.2 is our development applications approved under delegated authority since the previous council meeting, as listed again for council information.
Mover, Councillor Law, seconded by Councillor Meagle. Any questions or comments there, councillors? Councillor Meagle?
Which those development applications, were they included in the figures that in the previous item, or will these go into the next?
These follow into, some of these development applications approved have been on the books for a while.
Yeah.
And have just been through the process.
Yeah, so in terms of appearing in the stats,
Yeah.
to happen or has happened?
The building stats are what's been put in,
Yep.
applied for, not necessarily what's approved through the process. The development applications is what's been approved under delegation.
Yeah, so they'll go into the stats.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further questions, councillors? If not, I'll put it. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Okay.
Councillors, report 8.3 is for the road closures of Lambrook Lane, Mulwala area, unnamed road, Urana, Pell Street, Howlong, and another unnamed road in the Oaklands region. All of these roads, we've investigated properties either side and we've established ownerships, etc. Is there any detriment to our assets, any detriment to adjoining owners, etc. as part of our process? So I've got a recommendation there for closure of Lambrook Lane, Mulwala, providing a letter of consent to the landowner. The same for the unnamed road in the Urana region. And for Pell Street, Howlong, I'm not recommending that we consent to closure purely because we've got some assets in that street that we want to maintain, and we don't want to lose the right to that street for future development either. And the unnamed road at Oaklands
in the front of the report, it talks about Reed Street, how long?
Yes.
Is that,
Sorry, yes, that's my mistake. That should read Pell Street.
Pell, sorry?
Yeah. Reed runs north-south, Pell Street runs east-west. The east-west one is one that I'm under consideration.
Not consent to Pell, yeah, that's good.
Peter, can I just ask a question in relation to the East Gums Road and West Gums Road? I think I read that the same landowner has both parcels of
That's
land
correct.
on both sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the triggers that I have for, in consideration of closures, is the land ownership either side and the impact that that closure may have.
Very good. Any further questions, councillors? Councillor Longmire?
Is there any consultation done with the Rural Fire Service local representatives on this road closure, such as the one you've just explained?
There's been some consultation. Consideration that they've asked me to look at in the past is access for them through to the properties.
Okay.
They have legal right of access across that
Anyway,
road.
that's correct. Yeah.
So closure of the road doesn't impact their operation.
Yeah, no, that's okay. In some of these instances, there's been a history of some of these roads that aren't closed get a grader blade up through them to use as a fire break. But is this fenced on either side, the one out we're talking about now?
I'm not sure if it's fenced either side. It may be fenced one side.
Yeah, I just think in future opportunities, it's important that situation be regarded, because I know that a lot of the landowners that own both sides of those roads, was the application made by the landowner was?
Yeah,
Okay, so he's happy
all
with
made
that.
by the landowner.
Yeah.
If they're not made by the landowner, then I start to question why we want to close the road.
That's right. Thank you.
Any further, councillors? If not, Councillor Ward. If not, I'll put it all in favour. Aye. Against? Carried.
Is Councillor Thomasoni,
Maybe that one.
that one?
In for one and then back out and out.
Yeah. Councillors, report 8.4 relates to our Howlong Industrial Estate. It's for the rezoning of the land behind the cool-off facility to permit industrial development to occur on that land. There's a recommendation there to proceed with the rezone.
Can I move it, please, councillors? Moved by Councillor Meagle, seconded by Councillor Kennedy. Any questions or comments, councillors? If not, I'll put it. Okay. All in favour? Aye. Against? Carried.
8.5. Report 8.5 is for the development of the solar farm in Mulwala. It's a state significant development, and as such, council are able to comment, but we don't run the process on the planning process for it. So we've got a recommendation there that council provide comments in respect to any concerns with the development, and basically myself and Kate will work through that and formulate a response on behalf of council.
Moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Wales. Question, Councillor Longmire?
Yeah, thank you. For the future development or expansion of Mulwala, under the LEP currently, or where we're going, I think there's a new opportunity coming forward very soon to redo the LEP. Is there any concern, or do you believe, I mean, obviously we only put a comment into the State Planning Authority because they have the final say. Is there any concern, anxiety in regard to that, Mr. Gore?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, we've had some discussion around it, and there is a feeling that it may limit development, but we haven't actually gone through any works to confirm that yet. Future development of Mulwala, I guess, there's a balance of what can we achieve around the lake itself, where the predominant amount of development probably will occur, versus what we can provide in cheaper land off the lake. So it is a potential limiting factor, but we haven't gone through a full discussion about it yet.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions, councillors? Nothing further? If not, I'll put it. All in favour? Aye. Against? Carried.
Councillors, 8.6 is the next report. That's for the development application for the highway service centre located adjacent to the roundabout where Federation Way comes into Honor Avenue. We've placed a recommendation there that council proceed to approve the DA subject to the conditions we have listed. We have received objections. However, one of the objections was around location, which we believe is location as it is through the planning department is an appropriate location. The other was concerns around the impact of traffic and drainage on the caravan park across the road. We believe that's all addressed by the various conditions that we have listed here. So you have a recommendation with rather large list of conditions.
Moved by councillor Longmire, seconded by councillor Longley. Any questions? Yes, councillor Longmire.
I first of all had apprehension about the opportunity because the interference that may be considered towards the operation of the sale yards. However, purely with an on-site inspection that was a short notice, I admit the other day, and some of the other councillors were able to visit the site as well. And the understanding from the proponent of what the dimensions are and where it's situated, I couldn't be more supportive of it. And I believe that, and I've spoken to the agents as well, and they're not concerned about it. They haven't really had a real good look at it, but the assurances come from us councillors that did have an inspection of it to them, and as late as last night in an opportunity with the agents, and so they're comfortable, and if they're comfortable, we can assure you we're comfortable. Thank you, John. I'm only here glad to meet you.
Councillor Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I agree with Councillor Longmire. I fully support this application. By having on-site inspection really open up what it's going to look like. And for that area there, it's just going to make it even better than what it is. So I fully support it.
Councillor Watts.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I could just perhaps check a couple of things in the conditions. I'm like Councillor Longmire and Councillor Wales. I couldn't attend the short meetings the other day due to work commitment. But reading through it, fully support the whole concept. I was just concerned, and I think Councillor Longmire in the break confirmed what I was querying. I noticed that when they come out onto Honor Avenue, there's going to be a medium strip put through there to avoid turning right back in towards the town. I just want to confirm you can still go back out and onto the roundabout to turn back into Corowa. So,
yeah, the design of the traffic flow there is that anybody wanting to come back into Corowa or back onto the Federation Way across the border has to go back to the roundabout as the safest option.
Yeah. Anybody
heading north can exit straight on the Federation Way.
Yes, yeah. Well, which was obvious, but I just want to make sure, otherwise it would be terrible. They'd be doing U-turns up further. And the other one was the advertising and signage. I appreciate it's going to be a very modern facility, and the Act relates to 2007 in relation to the advertising and signage for planning policies. It says that there's to be no flashing lights or moving signs or anything like that. I'm just concerned there might be a restriction for a modern service station in the light that with our own advertising for Christmas carols and races at the bottom of the main street have variable message boards. Does that put a limitation on the type of, tens of thousands of dollars of signs that they're going to put up, or can that be brought to council to put a variable message sign up if they needed to? I just think moving forward into the future, moving signs and LEDs and plasma screens is going to be an advertising medium.
Look, there's nothing in any of their planning applications to prevent somebody putting in for a future variation on them. So if technology moves to that point and the planning system moves as well, then there's nothing to prevent that from occurring.
Yeah. Very good answer.
Any further, councillor?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I had the opportunity
inspected with the developer the other day too, and I'm very impressed. The whole concept has been well thought out. There's also a big bonus, of course, there's 20 jobs, all new jobs.
Any further? If not, I'll put it. All in favour? Aye. I'll just get a count, please.
With a planning matter, we'll just do a division, and Rochelle will just record the names of those, and if it's all in support, that's easy.
Against, carried.
Just say a division.
Council, 8.7 is 31 Lang Street, Mulwala. It's a balcony renovation that's occurred, and what we're working through is basically correcting the process and ensuring that there's an adequate DA in place for what's proposed by the owner of the property. Again, we've conditioned it suitably to allow things to proceed on the site.
Move the recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Law, seconded by Councillor... do we have a seconder? Councillor Kendi. Any questions or comments, Councillor? If not, I'll put it. Councillor Megan.
Apologies, Mr Mayor, for the late one. For Mr Gall, so the conditions here revert it back to the process that should have occurred in the first place.
Yes.
Is that what right? Thank you.
Any further, councillors? If not, I'll put it. All in favour? Aye. Against? Carried.
Okay, councillors. Next development application on report 8.0 is for the food waste processing facility at the Poseidon Road, as presented earlier to council. We've got a large range of conditions, there that are broad enough to allow us to police and regulate what does occur with the development, but also allow sufficient scope for him to bring new technologies in without necessarily being limited by planning. Again, look, council.
Move the recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Law, seconded by Councillor Meagle. Questions? Councillor Longmire.
Yeah, I have concerns in the question, the reasoning that was given today in the presentation. I think there's limitations on it, and we understand it, that he will be purchasing extra blocks of land adjoining, okay. He hasn't already secured them, or he hasn't got a contract in position, or, sorry, did he say that?
Did he have an option?
He's got an option, okay, I'm sorry, not only blind, I'm deaf.
Still right though, he doesn't own it.
Yeah, okay, but if the consideration that he's got it, and the council need to understand that observation with the condition applied, if that's a document that council need to view, and so the reasoning what he explained today, to me is becoming satisfactory. Having said that, I mean there's a lot of work to be done because as he explained, he's growing and the whole thing is growing, so he needs to go that. The other one is go that way. The other one is the time frame, Mr. Gall. I think the conditions applied, he's got certain times to operate and to do. You able to just explain those conditions to the council? For him to commence, or if we give this opportunity to him?
The conditions around time frames, etc., to ensure that things do occur in a timely manner,
yes,
and don't drag out for 2, 3+ years.
Absolutely.
That's always been the concern with development. A bit of, because of the chicken and egg factor, he doesn't want to invest heavily unless he's got a DA that can allow him some certainty. Yeah. So we put time frames in there purely to enable us to police it effectively and have it occur, yes, the upgrades occur in a reasonable time, as opposed to down the track.
So was that, Mr. Gore, if I may ask a further question, was that a consideration that was negotiated, or is it by the guidelines of council under normal DA in this situation?
That was a negotiated thing. My understanding is that yes, he does need some time to actually develop the design detail we need. So we've got to negotiate that time frame with him. So there's nothing in normal planning regulation that have a time frame on those sort of issues, but we've chosen to put them in negotiations with him.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor White.
Mr Mayor, if I could, and following on from Councillor Longmire, in light that we've got 2 development applications in front of us that people have gone ahead and created their work and done it in the balcony, and now with the business of Mr Hogan. He's still running, and the business is operating without basically any hurdles put in front of him at this stage. I appreciate that it's a moving business and it's good for the industrial estate and good for the employment. I guess the concern is if it's growing bigger and bigger and his ability to contain all of his waste, I think that in light of what Councillor Longmire said, the time frames to put those biofilters in, and I note in the conditions that there's 1 biofilter to be installed in 1 shed. If he's going to rearrange it and change it, back flip it over, and the proposal that he's tending to put forward, I'm just concerned with, especially in light of summer upon us, with the heat of milk and yogurt, it certainly is a stench, and as Nick Hogan highlighted, he wasn't hiding the fact that the stench is quite bad and it can be addressed and it can be contained. I just feel that the conditions probably in the time frame which Councillor Longmire was on aren't effective immediately. If he was to go through the development application to start that business from scratch, I'm sure that biofilter would be imposed before the doors open. That's the issue that I see a problem, and I'd like to even see that we could perhaps do a little bit more research and put that off for a month. It's not going to affect his trade or his business because he's still running, we haven't shut him down, but review where those biofilters are going to go and get an actual something on paper to see this is what we've got, this is what's going to happen, and yes, we want that done by this date as a matter of urgency. I just feel that holding it off and putting it back is going to be a bit of a detriment over the summer.
Look, I've been involved in the detail of negotiations. Taser's undertaken that. My understanding, though, would be that it's around what, in terms of biofilter, the time frame to actually get it designed and purchased and then installed on site. There's limitations there. Obviously, you're not going to go to a Kmart and buy one and put it in. In terms of future expansion, that's not dealt with by this specifically. You would then require another DA to allow that expansion to occur, and that would have a lot more stringency around those issues. He wouldn't be allowed to operate an expanded site without all the facilities being in place first. So this is if you like, this is probably the first step. Yes. Let's get him up and compliant. Let's get it moving forward so we don't lose that business. And then we'll deal with the issues of expansion in the future.
Sorry, Mr Mayor, and through you, Mr Mayor, Mr Gall. So would we be saying that biofilter, because obviously it is an issue, and it does vary from time to time. You can get no smell, and then you can get an incredibly rank smell, which Mr Hogan had highlighted. Would we be making that biofilter in place and up to standard as a matter of straight away? Because as I said before, you'd have to do that if you were to put that DA in to be approved to open. Otherwise, that'd be the way to start a business. You go and just put it in and do it, and then get the conditions put on you later. We're setting a bit of a task, I think.
Just before, and I'll take other comments, but with the concern about this one, and the concern is smell, and I understood from this presentation that there was already one filter engaged and working, and there is still a stench, we've still got problems. I'm just wondering whether to get a bit more clarity over this one, it's a big decision that we may defer it to the next meeting. Councillor Longley, return.
Mr Mayor, I've had quite a bit of experience over time with biofilters. They do take there's a lot of time in designing them, buying them, installing them. You could because they're not an ex-stock item. They're purpose-built, purpose-made. So summer's here now. You could order it tomorrow, for example. It wouldn't be ready for probably at least another 6 months, I would suggest. The other thing is, why are we trying to restrict his operation as far as odours and smells when cool off in how long? He was allowed to do the same thing with our biofilters for years, and only just recently have installed biofilters.
Councillor Neal.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Taking on from Councillor Longley's comments, I think that if we're going to, a couple of things. First of all, it's important for the Federation Council area to proceed that we have and encourage employment, and this is a case in point. There have been comments made in other facilities that have had odour problems, and Council has asked those to be addressed. I believe that what we're asking here is that they be addressed, and I take on Councillor Whitechurch's comments that we ask them to be addressed in the most time-effective manner that we can, based on the fact that it's occurred, as he said, he's up and operating. We need to bring it into conformity and be seen to be fair, and ask the same standards of this operator as we do of any other operator that has an odour issue, that be done in the most time-effective manner. And I trust that council officers will take that on board as a direction from the council that it needs to be done ASAP, because of the amenity to other areas. Yes, it's in the industrial estate, but there's also other users out there that also need to be considered. So I would like to think that we would be asking him to become compliant in the most time-effective manner if we can, because we are trying to make this council area economically attractive to people, because that increases our employment and our longevity and our very survival. So I would be supportive of the recommendation with a direction and an understanding to the officers that in order to be compliant, he probably needs to order it tomorrow, as Councillor Longley said, so that it can be done in the most time-effective manner.
Sorry about
and
that.
Before someone lets the dogs out, maybe I should just jump all over.
Councillor, I suppose the question is, if there is a biofuel operating there now, and there is a stench there now, is that smell acceptable to the other business operators out there?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, there's obviously an odour. We accept that. If there is one biofilter there, he may need more biofilters, but he needs to get that to a standard that we've asked other operators to adhere to, and therefore there should, and the improvement from experience with other operators, when those biofilters are put in, they do make a significant improvement. All we're asking is here that he do this in the most time-effective manner. And if we defer this for another council meeting, he's still not going to buy it. We have to have this in place so that he has the confidence to get out there and put those in place. So I think the sooner we get this approved, the sooner he buys his biofilter, the sooner the stench is, or the odour is reduced.
Right, Councillor Whitechurch.
Mr Mayor, in light of Councillor Meagle's comments, and I certainly appreciate the whole thing. I think the concept done properly is great for the whole of Corowa and the area for employment, etc. Yes, I agree that the sooner we deal with it, the better. I'm just concerned that a timely time frame and those sort of things isn't direct. How do you bring that in, and how do you make it happen? I don't know, but I agree that if one biofilter's in there and it's certainly not working, well, I think it's a matter of urgency that they go in and conditional to the DO or something.
Councillor Longley.
Mr Mayor, he did comment about the one biofilter and needing more, and he acknowledged that he needed more.
Yeah.
Okay, did you want to make a comment in relation to that timing?
Just in relation to the addition of the way it's worded, this enables the flexibility to occur around the development of the construction design, etc. of the biofilters. If we go in and try and put a time frame on it that he can't meet because the biofilter business that he's purchasing through has other projects up first, then we're limiting his ability to remain operational in that time. At the moment, there's not a constant smell out there. A few times I've been out to the depot in the last month, I certainly haven't noticed any odour. So it's not frequent, it's not all the time, but he is wanting to address it, but he needs the flexibility of time because of his suppliers. So I think for council to try and limit the time frames is going to compromise the business and his ability to operate at all.
Councillor Meagle.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Thanks, Mr Gould, for the comments, and understand. I don't think we want to limit it. We just don't want it to drag on and have the option where he says, sorry, there's hold up somewhere else, and it drags on and on and on, because the intent is that he's outside the operating outside of the DA at the moment. We're trying to get him back inside of the DA, and whilst we respect that there are time limits, we would like them to be, and so I guess it comes back to a little bit of communication, for the best term, from council staff to make sure that they're monitoring that situation closely in terms of satisfying the community's event. And we must have gone at different times, Mr. Gore, because I did notice an odour when I was out there, and it is variable, but we agree with that. What we're trying to do here is work with the applicant to achieve the best outcome. The best outcome will be in the shortest time frame, and as long as council is monitoring that closely, I think we should get the best outcome.
Just through you, Mr. Mayor. I'll assure council we are monitoring it. Not just us, but all the other landowners out there as well are, including frequent phone calls. But we've got, with our new environmental health officer that we will hopefully be appointing after Christmas, one of their roles will be to monitor this type of business, make sure compliance is occurring, and make sure progress is happening. Kate's doing a lot of work with Nick to make sure he is getting progress. So once this DA is in place, there will be ongoing work with him to ensure he does meet reasonable time frames, doesn't let things blow out.
Councillor Thomas.
I think it's important that we say, economic development is fabulous, employment is great, but we need to endorse to our businesses that it's not ideal to start a business without everything in place. And that's what I need to say.
We have a lot of education work to do on that front.
And councillors, if there be no further, I'll put it. All in favour? Against? Carried.
Just again, because it's a planning matter, we'll call that a division and we'll drop the names of the councillors down. Voted that way.
That was unanimous, yeah. Notice of motion. Neil? Reports from committee, will be Neil. No delegates reports. Correspondence requiring reaction. Confidential items.
So there is one report, through the chair, there's a report 13.1, so we'll just need a recommendation to go into closed session.
Would someone like to move that recommendation, please? Moved by Councillor Neal, seconded by Councillor Kennedy. All in favour?
Yeah, we need to put the reading in.
Yeah. Which is...
We're moving into...
Oh, there it is, sorry.
Yeah, it's confidential. My Whaler Industrial Estate subdivision. We've got a mover. Have you got that? The mover was Councillor Meagle, and the seconder was Councillor
I didn't second it, but I will. Yep.
Kennedy. Okay, I'll put it all in favour.